Thank you for tuning in to the Catch a Lift Fund's Coach's Corner podcast. We hope you enjoy today's episode and will consider supporting the Catch a Lift Fund and the veterans we serve. Visit our website for more information about our programs at catchaliftfund.org. If you are experiencing a mental health crisis or suicidal thoughts, please call 988 or the Veterans Crisis Line 988, followed immediately by the number 1. The views and opinions expressed during the Coach's Corner podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the Catch a Lift Fund. The Catch a Lift Fund does not verify or warrant the truth or accuracy of statements made during the podcast, and statements therein are not to be construed as an official policy or position of the Catch a Lift Fund. This podcast is provided for informational purposes only, and nothing herein should be construed as health, medical, or other professional advice. The Coach's Corner is a place for veterans to connect, heal, and share their stories. I'm Melissa Luke, the host of the Coach's Corner podcast. I am a U.S. Army Iraq War veteran, coach, and program director for the Catch a Lift Fund. The Coach's Corner is sponsored by ID Technologies. Welcome to this week's episode of the Coach's Corner. This week I'm honored to welcome back to the show U.S. Army Iraq War veteran Will Castillo. Will is ranked number 1 in the world for para bobsled and a longtime Cal veteran athlete. Welcome to this week's episode of the Coach's Corner.
Hi.
Welcome.
I know. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. So excited to have you back on the show, have this conversation with you today. We've just been so pumped over this journey that you've been on. It's been absolutely incredible.
It's been wild.
Oh,
in a good way.
Yeah. Let's get right into it, Will. For anybody that's not familiar with you and your story, Will, talk to us a little bit about para bobsled and how you got into the sport of bobsledding.
Yeah, so para bobsled is pretty much, there's 2 levels to it. There's a push category and the seated category. The seated is for any spinal injuries or above the knee amputees. That pretty much bobsled without the push. We have a launching system that will push us all exactly at the same speed. We all weigh the same weight, and so it just comes down to you driving down the track.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So for anybody too, and tell us here too, Will, before we really get going into it, we'll make sure we put it in the description, but you have an incredible website, the Team Castillo website. So willcastillousa.com, definitely encourage everybody to check that out. But on your website, there's a description used of bobsledding, and it goes as follows. It says, with its high-speed descent down a frozen, twisting ice chute, the sport of bobsled tests an athlete's strength, fitness, and courage. And I remember growing up, and my favorite thing was to watch, in the winter games and such, was bobsledding. And I was just like, man, this looks absolutely incredible to do, but I would be so dang scared. I'm not even going to lie. I mean, you're literally, you're shooting in this tube down this icy track. Will, talk to us about how you keep your courage up on the course, on those tracks.
I live my life with 5 seconds of courage. So with that being said, means, just showing up, the anxiety, the sitting in that bobsled, the waiting to launch, the fear, the doubts, that's all in your head, right? That's what makes it scary. But once you launch, it's like a peace. You just reach total peace with the ice. It's a rhythm. Now, it can be chaotic, right? Yeah. But you've done so much training that you know what's going to happen if it doesn't go the way that you want to. You know how you should react. But the anxiety is always the takeoff. I mean, that for me is everything, right? I'm pacing back and forth. I'm just... My coach is like, Will, sit down and relax. I'm like, no, I gotta let this stuff out.
What are you thinking about during that time when you're pacing around right before you're getting ready to go down?
Mind runs and prayers.
Okay.
Mind runs and prayers, deep breaths and mind runs. Just being in the moment. Trying to control the anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you been in the sport?
I've been in sport about 5 years.
Okay.
5 years, and I would dare to say 3 years professionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to, because, we obviously we want to talk a lot about this incredible 2022-2023 season that you had, that you're coming off of here. But I want to, before we get into that, kind of take a step back and talk about the prior season.
Yeah.
So talk to us about, the 2021-2022 bobsled season, how it ended, and, where you were kind of at mentally and physically at the end, a
Yeah.
year ago.
So a quick rundown. Of course, when I was trying to make the team, that's how I sort of got involved with Cal. And it was just pretty much trying to get back in shape to be able to compete at that high level mentally and physically. So being the first 2-3 years that I've been doing this professionally, um, they're competing against the best in the world.
Right.
These guys are amazing, and it's just so incredible. I'm in awe every time I think about each one of them and each story they have, you know. And I was just hoping to get in the top 10 out of 20 best in the world.
Right.
And I would barely break 10, last year it was a really tough season for me just because I didn't perform the way that I wanted to, and I had prepared myself so much. And when it just came down to race, I wasn't far away, but when you lose by hundreds of seconds, it's just devastating, right?
I'm sure.
What could I have done? Did I blink?
Yes.
Did I
Right.
what did I do? Right? But it's just one of those things that when these amazing pilots that I'm now competing against at their level, they have it down to a science. And I was just trying to get there. I was trying to control my anxiety. I wanted to represent my country with honor and integrity, win or lose, give praise to my God. And that's all I was really trying to do. And last year I really got into my training more with my nutrition, my mental, my spiritual, my physical, I was sort of putting all that stuff together and preparing for this 22-23 season and give myself a good, chance to be in the top 4.
Yeah.
That was my goal, top 4. I mean, we're talking about, Great Britain, we're talking about Canada, we talk about Switzerland, we talk about the Swiss. These are all incredible pilots that have been doing it for a lot longer than me. But, when you work hard and you prepare yourself and you show up and you pray, things happen, right?
This is
Might
true.
not happen at your time, but it will happen. And
this is so true.
Yeah, so that's how I do it. So that's how I live my life, with a little bit of courage, just showing up. You saw my son, I try to tell him all the time, just show up, man. Show up and prepare yourself, and that's all you could do. All right, because sometimes we let that fear. If I would think about the speeds that I would hit, if I would think about the injuries that I could take, or the people that have been injured bobsledding that are still bobsledding now as a para, right? Or as a coach for para.
Right.
I wouldn't do it. There's no way. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. But it's a great opportunity. It's a great honor to represent your country.
Yeah.
And I remember watching Cool Runnings as a kid. I never thought this kid from Queens would ever be able to represent USA at the highest level para bobsled.
It's absolutely incredible. It really is, Will. So I want to try to dig at it a little bit more here, because I've always been fascinated by this, especially in sports, where literally where it comes down to just sometimes hundredths of a second, right? And you're to a level now, right, where you're competing against, like you said, these best pilots in the world and such. From a coaching standpoint, how is it approached, right? So looking back at that previous season, like you said, you didn't come out of it quite where you wanted to be, so you really focused in a lot, mentally, physically, your nutrition, your spirituality and everything. From a coaching aspect, like what's going on to kind of grab that last 0.5%, just get that last little bit out of you. How does that
Yeah,
happen, Will?
yeah. Well, I'll tell you right now, it's the people around me. So this year we had Coach Brittany. She is a bobsledder, or was just recently retired
Okay.
bobsledder. She's been in the sport for many years. Great Christian, great person. She said, you know what? I'm going to retire, but I don't want to retire from the sport. I'm going to go coach the para guys. And her experience, her ability to navigate the track and to see things was priceless to us. So um, that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
It's the people around you that get you to the place,
100%. Yeah.
and you just got to show up and put that work in, right? So that's how things sort of worked out for me, which is a lot of respect to Coach Kim. But she wasn't a bobsledder, right? She was an Olympic skier, you know.
Okay.
So her knowledge, she's more of a team manager and a sort of growing the sport in the back ends now. They were able to hire a coach that could actually travel with us to Europe and say, hey, I just saw you run. Let's tweak this a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And you tweak here, you tweak there, and you start gaining a little bit of time, and that's what will separate you from 20 all the way to 1 or 25 to 1.
Wow. That's incredible.
You know?
Talk about the mental aspect of it, Will, and you've touched on it some already, but what goes into it for you, when you're going to go and you've got a race coming up, that track, are you studying it? Again, like, talk about watching Cool Runnings as a kid, right? And I remember that, and having, watching those guys, and you have to study those tracks, right? And talking about that. And like, you can't just go in there. It's not just jumping in a sled and shooting down. Talk to us about driving that sled.
No, yes. So there is a lot of driving in bobsled. And you have to know these corners, right? Because when you're going around them, you're going 70, 80 miles an hour in a tube, and everything is white, ice white. So there's no time to learn. All your preparation comes down in your off season. This time right now, while everybody's celebrating or whatever, this is what's going to make you or break you. I'm watching film. I'm getting my heart rate up, doing mime runs. Um, Nervous situations, I'm doing mime runs. Anytime I'm feeling uncomfortable, tired, or sweaty, I'm doing a mime run. You know, I'm preparing myself. So, because it's only a minute on the track,
Yeah.
right? So, and you get 3 runs every day, and then you have to qualify and race. So there's not a lot of time. Then you move on to a new track, which is totally different turns,
Mm.
right? So you have to be prepared. You have to be, and I mean prepared, I mean physically and mentally prepared. You know the track. You're not guessing, well, I think it's a left turn. No.
Yeah.
No. I know it's a left turn. It's a small wall. It's 90 degrees. It's 30-degree wall. I talk to myself a lot as I'm doing these runs. It's just constant work like that during this season. That when the anxiety hits, the fatigue hits, the pressure of competing, the pressure of the crowd, the cold, the foreign country, the foreign food, that all that stuff that does affect you will affect you. But at least you know how the track will run, and then you're able to control the things you can't control. You can't control your anxiety. You can't control the people where you're
Right.
at. You can control how prepared you are for that track. And I learned that from a athlete who kicked my butt all last year, a fellow teammate, right? And I bless him every day. I'm like, hey man, you made me a better pilot, because his preparations was just like,
Yeah.
man, this guy is incredible. And he made me prepare like that. And I thank him for that. Once again, product of the people around me.
Right. Right. Will, talk to us about what your physical training looked like leading up into this season.
Physical training. My physical training always falls into my mental health as well.
Okay.
Um, Despite the sport, I still battle with
Yeah.
survivor's guilt and tons of things. So my mental health is tied so deeply into my
Yeah.
physical health. I mean, so deeply. And once again, I have Alex as a trainer. I'm blessed to have him this year. He is a sponsor, so he doesn't charge me. But I mean, he's an incredible coach from core exercise. He's not one of those like get buff and
Yeah.
look great. No, he wants functional. He wants core. He wants you to be able to move. And he's trained me. I mean, I train 5 days a week, and once again, I do it for my sport and my mental health,
Right.
right? And, it's just, he's an incredible person. I don't know. We do these weird exercises and we're pulling on the lightest weight, but I'm sweating so much and I'm so focused. Let me tell you, mental fatigue equals physical fatigue. When you were there concentrating and you're so focused, like you forget to breathe. And I'm just like, and
Yeah.
I'm doing all types of things. I'm sorry. That's just I'm using this new computer.
All good.
It's hard. Yeah. So, but I train hard. And he trains me hard, and I'm blessed to have him.
Will, talk to us about how your spirituality plays into all this.
Yeah, spirituality is the center of everything I have. Everything as my first podcast with you. Once I gave my life to God after my suicide attempt, it just changed everything. I'm only able to do the things I am because I know He's in control. If I trusted in myself only, I don't know if I could bobsled.
Yeah.
I'll mess it up. I can't even remember where I put my keys sometimes. Here I am trying to remember 19 turns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
I do.
I trust Him, and I trust the people He puts around me. And life is always throwing things at you. My mother, my mother's recently diagnosed with cancer. So that takes priority over everything in my life, right? But with that being said, my trust still is in Him. He's in control, and that. But I'm able to find a little peace in this, and I'm still able to continue with my training, my discipline. Yes, it's hard times. Yes, it's mental stress, but maybe I'll add another hour to the gym. And I'll be super tired, right? Or maybe I'll do a gym workout with my trainer and a cow workout in my garage at night to deal with the anxiety that comes with me at night. And these are things that I've learned through mental health, going to my therapy, through Cal, its program, its coaches. And all of those things that I'm talking about, God put them in my life.
Absolutely.
So that's why I put Him in the center of everything I do. I need to be reminded at times, right? But it keeps me going.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get emotional with.
No. Thank you so much. Thank you for speaking on that. And I definitely couldn't agree with you more. Will, I want to talk to you about this incredible 2023 season that you're coming off of. You are now ranked #1 in the world. It's just absolutely incredible. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you so much, Battle. I appreciate it.
Oh man, myself, everyone at Catch Lift, we've been so very excited about this. And again, like I said, watching this journey, Will, talk to us about the season and what it's looked like.
The season started in New York, Lake Placid. Last year, I finished, I think, 5th and 6th at Lake Placid, which is my home court. A little disappointed last year, right? Home court, trying to reach top 3. And I was prepared, man. I was prepared. I was at peace. I am so sorry. Let me try to cut this out. All these emails. I was at peace, and there was a crowd, and the coach was there, and I looked at my coach and said, "Coach, we'll give everything I got." She's like, "Well, I love you regardless of what you do," and we go down, right? And I think I was first. I was first to launch. So I started the season. I was first para bobsledder to launch in the season, and I launched, and I get the fastest time I've had all week. Right? I think it was like a 58.6. And then here comes the rest of the country, and I'm there, right? And second nation, second athlete, and I'm still the fastest, third, fourth, fifth, and I'm like, okay, here come the big wigs. Here comes the big guys, and right, and then it comes down to the last, you know, runner, and he goes down. And I'm still leading on first. So I'm like, oh my god, I'm sitting in first. And it's 2 runs. It's 2 runs. So then the second run, the guy who's in first goes last. So now I have to wait for everybody to go, and
Yeah.
I'm watching everybody go. I'm not even looking at their times. I'm just watching everybody go, and I get into my zone, and I launch, and I win my first gold medal in New
Oh my
York.
gosh.
I'm like, oh, we're excited, and my coach is hugging me. Everybody's crying, and we're like, all right, we got this, we got this. Next day is race 2. Next day, same thing, except I was sitting in third by the end of the first heat, and then, here comes second heat, and I finished in second. So first and second. So by points, I'm leading going into Europe, and then we get into this big month and a half break. So I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm very
Yeah. Yeah.
happy with what I got. Points wise, I'm not even worried about it. Like, you know, I'm trying not to focus on it. We head over to Austria. So we're in Austria, same thing. But now they gave us new sleds that we've never driven before. So I'm like, okay, come on, Jesus. Like, I got this. Everything's going to be all right. And in Austria, I think my top finish was like 14th.
Okay.
So I wasn't expecting much, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, you know? Um, but I was confident. The first race comes down, and I win gold on the first day. Like, oh my God, right? So now points are starting to separate a
Yeah.
little bit, right? So now people are like, oh, okay, and we're working on it, we're working on it. So then we do another race, and I come in fourth, right? But still up in the podium. So it's all right. I'm still sitting in first by points in the world. So I've never been in this position. Now, everybody from my coach back home to my coach that's in Europe, everybody's doing math like what's worst case scenario, how
Yeah.
we will get it. And, but nobody's telling me anything. They're like, stay focused. And then we have a race in Switzerland, and I do well there too. And then here comes the final race. And all I need to do is finish top 4 in both races. And we're in Norway. And let me tell you, Norway has destroyed me every time I've been there. I
Has
finished
it?
20, 21, 20, 21. Like, I do not pass, top 10 at all. Not even close to it. And all I gotta do is a top 4. I'm like, I've been sliding well all year, Will. Like, you got this. I
Yeah.
got friends at home like, Will, be confident. My pastor's sending me Bible verses like, read your Bible, do
Yeah.
your thing, stay calm. You got this. And it happened. I finished fourth both times.
Incredible. Incredible. Oh my gosh.
Crazy. And for the first time in U.S. history, we are ranked number 1 in the world. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
but it's not me. It's you. It's Lynn. It's all the people he puts around me. Everybody that Jesus has put around me has led me to this point. You know, and this is just the beginning. Not for me. This is beginning for us.
Yeah.
This is how I hopefully we could push this up for the first time. Para bobsled is being sold at Team USA stores. You know, we're making a move. You know, we're we're being seen now,
Yeah.
and our
Absolutely.
next step is the games in Italy or wherever it comes, and to launch and be part of Team USA. First para bobsled when first time that para bobsled reached the Paralympics, and we're going to be a driving force. And when I mean we, it's Cal, it's you, it's me, it's my trainers, it's my coaches. We're going to be main stage. We're going to show the world how you could go from. I'm sorry. You
Okay.
could go from devastation to suicide to drug abuse to competing at the high stage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I never thought about that. You know, big part of my story has always been I wasn't a hero to my kids. I wasn't a hero to nobody. But you know what? I'm not saying I'm a hero, but I've accomplished some things.
Yes.
You know, and it wasn't because I lost my men or I lost a leg. It was because I was given the chance, and God put great people around me, and I put the work in. And it's not easy, but I'm blessed. I'm blessed, and
Yeah.
we're gonna overcome the cancer with mommy, and we're gonna continue to work hard. We're gonna continue to change lives. Kyle's gonna continue to be a frontline soldier against that battle for suicide that
Yeah.
so many of us have come so close.
Yeah.
When we're full of so much life, we have
Absolutely.
so much to give back to the
So much to
world.
give. Yes.
So much, and we can help so many people just by showing up and overcoming
Yeah.
things. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I Will, your light shines so bright, and the impact that you are having on so many, and being able to show that, right, like you said, it's not the things we've lost, it's not the injuries we've sustained, none of that.
yeah.
We have so much to give. You have so much to give, and you give it every day. Thank you so much for this light that you continue to spread to all of us by your witness. It's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Well, you too. Just you and your work.
No, again, all glory to God, right? I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So grateful to God every day. Um, Will, talk to us about when you won the gold at the Parasport World Cup. What was that like? What did that feel like? Because this has been a goal,
Uh,
working towards this. What did that feel like?
it was surreal. It was amazing. Um, I wish I could have. I wish everybody could have been there with me just to see that moment. Um, it was amazing. It was
Yeah,
amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I did hit a little depression after that. A little survivor guilt wanted to kick
yeah,
in. Um, so I started to go to a little bits of therapy, but I just to see that trophy back there is first of all, it's a lot bigger than I thought it was.
I love it.
Uh, it's a reminder of to me, my family, and reason why I brought it to New York with us for our event was, when you believe in somebody, you can make change. You could change their life, and that person
Yeah,
might be able to help other people. And it started with, like we said in the beginning, a couple of gentlemen in New York who wanted to make a difference.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And then look at it. Now we're how many veterans? Thousands
yeah.
of Cal veterans that we're
Yeah,
saving.
over 10,000.
Imagine that.
Yeah,
Imagine 10,000.
over 10,000.
10,000 wills, just like myself, incredible
Yeah,
stories out there. And you putting them on, be able to put them on this platform where people could hear the story and continue to go back to Cal and see the changes. So, yeah.
it's good stuff, Will, for sure. I am curious because you're one of my favorite people to talk to, for many reasons, and I love the reflection that you give to stuff, right? And I'm curious what you've learned about yourself this past season.
Wow. Oh, what have I learned about myself this past season? I'm going to say that I don't give myself enough credit. And the reason I say that is because so many things went wrong this season as far as mechanical. So I got to Europe, leg wouldn't charge.
Oh my god.
First day, leg would not charge.
Oh my gosh.
I missed my first day of training because my leg wouldn't charge. And I panicked. I called home. I called my pastor, you know, and they were like, "Well, take a breath, take a breath." relax. Once again, my amazing uh, teammate was like, "Well, you have a voltage changer on it. You probably need to take that off." And it was that. But I was able to come back the next day and perform at a high level where I thought I was really going to be bad. And it was like, "Will, stop expecting the worst from yourself. Like, have confidence in yourself." The same thing I try to tell my son: be confident when you shoot that basketball. It's going to go in, right? But it's just so hard when life gets in your way.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God, why me? Why me? And my pastor, take a prayer. You know, God's with you. God, why are you panicking?
Yeah.
God's in charge anyway. So just, and I think I learned that about myself this year where, even if I'm not feeling my best, I prepare myself and I will react the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will, reflecting back on this season, what's been the most memorable part for you?
My most memorable part would be winning the gold. The Globe is incredible by all means,
Yeah.
but winning that first gold in Lake Placid, New York, in front of Coach Kim, and all those people who, from a 350-pound Will, made it all the way up to the top of the track to now represent his country and win that gold. It's priceless. In New York,
Yeah.
priceless to me.
Yeah.
You
How
know,
awesome is that?
it's
How
priceless.
awesome is that? Yeah.
Yeah, that to me, that smile, and I have a picture of me coming up the track, and it's just, I still have my helmet on. And my coach comes and she looks at me. I'm looking at her, and you could just see the years of work, like finally reaching its destination. Like we're on the map.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're on the map. You can't deny us now.
Yeah.
Um, Team USA is here.
Yeah. Team USA certainly is.
Yeah,
Will, you're the captain of Team USA.
yeah,
That's, I mean, we've talked about before, and, you mentioned at the beginning, and, I share sentiments with you that to be able to represent one's country, I mean, it's just, in my opinion, one of the greatest things a person can do in your life, if you're called to that, right? I know you hold those sentiments, and now, you're able to do that again, not only represent your country again on Team USA, but lead that, be the captain.
yeah,
We'll talk to us about that.
yeah. It's a great honor. These guys are very new. Some of these guys are new to the sport. Some of these guys have been in the sport around a long time. Different athletes, different pilots. I respect each one of them. The only thing that honestly, as I could say as a captain, is make sure we represent with honor and integrity. That's it. Win, lose, draw. We're respectful. We represent with honor and integrity. We don't blame nobody but ourselves in our mistakes. We cheer everybody on. We stand, kneel, crawl, wheelchair for the flag, and we make sure we do it with honor. That you could see us and be like, all right, that's Team USA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You want to go out, you need to unwind a little bit. You no gear, you're respectful, you conduct yourself. You know how it is. And most of these guys, I think three of us are military except one gentleman, Bob.
Okay.
So they know. They
Yeah.
know. One guy's a captain. He has a little like, but he's a great guy. And it's like, you know what? That's all I ask. Prepare yourself, and if you don't prepare yourself, the track is going to eat you up.
Right.
So that's going to be on you. I will prepare with you. I will train with you. I will make sure you have everything you need to succeed.
Yeah.
But those mime runs, that preparation that's going to happen in that hotel room behind that closed door is on you. But when you put that uniform on, honor and integrity all the way. You know what I'm saying? And you thank God from her coaches down to our newest pilot. That's the kind of um, system we have. And that comes from our camps with Coach Kim.
Yeah.
On time. If you're on time, you're late. You early, you're ready to go. Right? You're in charge of your equipment, and you respect the flag at all means. You know what I'm saying? No kneeling
Nice.
here. No kneeling here. And so that to me what's most important as the team captain. You know, the strategy. To be honest, the tragedy is winning and losing and corners. That's going to fall to the coach. Yeah, my job is to have my guys ready to perform at the best of their abilities.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, being in this leadership position again, right? And you know, like you said, ensuring that your guys, you know, on Team USA, you know, everybody, you're upholding the flag, you're upholding, you know, our country and everything in the highest regard. Does that take you back to being a staff sergeant?
No. Reason being, I had to distinguish myself away from that for the fact that, and that's the reason that I like doing solo bobsled. When I launch, it's just me.
It's you.
Nobody's lives are in charge of my hands, and that's important for me. Um, as a staff sergeant, I was in charge of every aspect of it,
Yeah.
every single aspect of them. Um, these are professional athletes, and I treat them as such. You know, unless because if Staff Sergeant Castillo comes out, now we have a problem, right?
Yeah.
Now you're embarrassing either your country or yourself, right? So that would be the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for speaking on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will, I got to ask you, what's next for you? What are the next goals? What are you looking towards?
Oh man, bobsled will or
I mean, I'd like to hear in any capacity, right?
yeah,
Bobsled, Will, you know,
per
Will, my
bobsled.
friend, what's next?
Bobsled, the ultimate goal is to take these games to the Paralympics 2026, win a medal. There are goals to get there individually and as a team. Individually, once again, I need to compete for the next 3 years, stay in the top three, keep myself in shape. Rep- be able to defend that world championship would be amazing. Um, but the ultimate goal is to get para bobsled there and Team USA, either myself or a teammate, one of us three or four holding those globes. Um, as a father, my son's about to go to high school. Uh, I've led him to God. Hopefully that's going to help. But, these are the
Yeah.
dangerous times, right? So my goal is to stay even more involved than ever in his life and make sure that I'm able to be there as a friend, father, and a strong hand, help him get through these tough years as he's growing up. And that's Will, the veteran. I want to help Cal. I want to help the fight on suicide. I want to help veterans realize that we have so much more. Isolation is our biggest enemy.
Yeah.
Life is happening out there that we're more than equipped to handle.
Yeah.
We're just letting a couple of things stop us. And we just need to get things in balance. And, physical fitness, mental health, it's like this. And we need Cal. We need Cal to lift front lines. We need help. And I think that's what Will wants to do. And as your friend, I'm excited to see you keep growing and dominating at what you're doing. You should have like a Netflix special. I'm telling you.
No. Will, I do have a question for you,
And
in regards to any of this, because you talked about the beginning, you talked about, showing up. You've talked about all we veterans have to give, talk to anyone listening who's scared to chase a big dream. They might have one, right? It's back here, but it seems big. It seems scary. What do you say to them?
I say, close your eyes, pray for it. He will start putting people in your life that's going to help you get there. But you have to show up. The anxiety is going to stop you. The unknown is going to stop you. Maybe your mood disorder. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you're not scared. Maybe you're just fearful. Don't let the enemy stop you. Show up. Because once you get there, you're going to be like, wow, I'm really here. And then all of a sudden, your warrior spirit gets ignited because once you're there, we're there. Like there's no veteran that wherever he's at, he's still that person, and it will
Yeah.
come out one way or another. Do it because so many times I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And then all of a sudden, I'm watching 10 hours of Netflix because I'm trying to ignore that. I'm trying to ignore that. No, no. Let's step one, step two, step three. We did by the numbers. This is how we handle things by the numbers, right? But it starts with hope, and hope starts with God.
Yeah.
So close your eyes and pray, and He will start. You will get a phone call. Maybe He'll see this interview. This is how He communicates with us.
Yeah.
So many times I've been like, oh my God, I'm not even going to hit the gym. And then I'm turning the channel and I see like a special on Kobe Bryant Muse. Show up even if you don't want to show up. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's time to get up, Will. Right?
This is true.
This is how I handle my thing. Like, my mom would be like, what are you doing? You haven't done anything all day? You're right, Mom. I got to get up.
Yeah.
I got to do something.
Oh my gosh.
But they could do it, man. And if call a friend, call Cal.
Yeah.
Come to one of our events. All right? Maybe it's your first time and you're scared to go out by yourself. Call a friend. Call me. Contact me through my website. Yeah. No matter where you are in the country, I'm sure I know somebody will be like, yo, let's go golfing. Let's do Can you imagine being isolated and all of a sudden going to do CrossFit? How good you would feel after that? Yeah. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
The endorphins that would be kicking you like,
for sure. You're gonna be flooded.
I could do this.
Yeah.
Right? I get excited to think because I know how those endorphins work.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting at home and it's like 3:00 in the afternoon, it's 4 and 5. Now you've been home all day. Now you're really up all night. Go do a CrossFit. I promise you. Promise you. You're gonna be like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible. But it starts by getting out of that house. Getting out of that. Whatever's causing that pain. Sometimes we don't relate mental pain like physical pain. Physical pain, you put your hand in a hot stove. It hurts, you move your hand out of the way. Mental pain, if where you are is causing you mental pain, why are we staying there?
Yes. Right.
Why are we staying in that? It's causing us mental pain. Right? Just because it's not physical and it's not burning us or whatever, but it's causing us pain. We have to move. Get out of there.
Yeah, it's causing pain, it's causing damage.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're just cooking yourself alive there.
Yeah.
And I could relate to that because I did that for almost 10 years and it took me to suicide. So, I don't want nobody to get there.
Right.
And we're talking about like drug addiction, overweight, missing a leg, just couldn't breathe, 10 packs of cigarettes a day, over drinking, and God changed that.
Yeah.
When I was like, hey, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. Quincy was like, I know a program named Cal that will get you some home equipment. And then 5 years later, here we are.
Here we are. Yeah.
Here we are. Now I go to a personal trainer and I have my home gym equipment. But before I couldn't go out.
Yeah.
So that was the end of my story. Will can't make weight. Will can't make the team. But Cal was there.
Yeah.
Right? It was pre-planned. Quincy told me about Cal. Quincy went to Boston to tell Will about Cal so Will could make the team. This is how God works, man.
It is. Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we sit here today, Will, all these years later, you're number one in the world, captain of Team USA. You have a beautiful family. And I've talked to you about this before, and this is the last question I want to ask you today. I like to ask it to everybody, but I think it is a question that does evolve for people. Sitting here today, Will, what does it mean to you to be a Ketchula Fund veteran athlete?
It's a honor, it's a responsibility, and it's a blessing. All three of those things combined is what, for me, Cal veteran is. A blessing because we're in a family of honest people who care, who they're so small and do such incredible things. It's beyond me. It's a responsibility because now that we know how it affected us, how it changed our lives, it is our job to go out and help, either by promoting, bringing new athletes, or telling our story to those potential sponsors out there.
Right.
The difference that this organization is doing, and what is it? Blessing. Sorry, I messed that up.
Oh no, you didn't. You didn't mess anything up.
Okay. Gosh, responsibility, a blessing, and an honor. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
An honor. How the story started. Lynn's brother, Lynn herself.
Yeah.
What an honor. What an incredible person.
Right. Yes.
So sweet, so hardworking, and it's always about everybody else.
Yeah, always. Yes.
Never her. And then, of course, with the veterans that I stand to my left and right, like yourself, the coaches, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard when you're among you because you guys do so much. So it's an honor to be a Cal athlete. I usually I try to be honorable everywhere, but if I'm wearing a Cal shirt, I understand that I represent an amazing organization.
Absolutely. Will, as always, it's always such a pleasure and a true honor to get to talk with you and share some time together. So much fun today.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Congratulations again. We are so dang happy for you, Will. And I'm excited to talk to you again soon, and hear about all the great things you're doing. And thank you for all you continue to do for our community, truly.
Thank you. I appreciate you, and thank you to Cal for everything they've given me. They also were a sponsor last year for me, and I don't take that lightly. Anybody who believes in what this journey is and representing Team USA, when I represent them, I represent them with honor and integrity. Like I said, Cal, the flag, all that stuff. There's a lot of tears and blood behind that.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I don't take any of that lightly. So I'm thankful and blessed, and I hope to see you soon in a couple events.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
That's it for this week's episode of Coach's Corner. We will return next Wednesday at 1 Eastern Time with another episode. Thank you again, Will, for sharing your story and your light with us all. It's always so great to have this opportunity to connect with you. Awesome. Don't forget to join us every Wednesday live at 1 p.m. Eastern on YouTube for a chance to win Cal swag and to chat with your brothers and sisters. Until next week, keep it real and stay Cal strong.